Aujourd'hui, je vais parler de mentally preparing that is needed to prepare for the bear market. Yep, I just said that. Does that count as a dad joke, even though I'm not a dad? But I am corny. Yes, I said it. Bear with it, guys. Hey, Zempak here. Oh no, the stock market has finally become a bear market through this past week. Oh no, whatever shall I do? Oh no, all my income comes from my investments. Oh no, will I have to go back to work, get a job again, have a boss again, be like everyone else again? No, full stop. Don't be silly. Anyone who knows me knows that I've prepared for this because I'm not a moron, okay? A bear market is as inevitable as the sun setting after a certain period of time, right? Nothing goes up forever. Jesus, I have no idea why any sane person would ever think otherwise. Just look at the history of the stock market. Oh wait, just look at the history of human beings. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. And you know what definitely happens over long durations though? We learn and we get slightly, mildly better at stuff. The market is just a reflection of the massive amounts of human beings and their drives and innovations and fears and aspirations. And we human beings have been advancing forward, by the way, since forever ago. And I bet on humanity's ability to pull itself out of a jam again and again and again. Though the key point here is, of course, over a long enough time frame. So no short-term thinking allowed here. Nothing to see here, okay? But hey, I know I'm prepared. Here are some tips on how you could better deal with the current bear, right? I mean, bear markets might be here for a bit yet. No worries, got you guys covered with these simple tips and tricks. Oh, and comment, like, and subscribe, and share, and all that social media buzzwordy nonsense. Or whatever, okay? Honestly, I don't care what you do. I'll be great regardless. Now, the first and easiest thing to do ever. Just don't check the market every day, okay? Think back to when you were happiest in life. Hopefully it's a period when you were like a child and have the innocence of youth where you constantly fretting about the world economy. Heck no, so be like that again. I mean, I remember when I first finally got some real stakes in the market. I wasn't even well diversified at the time, right? Because more than half of my portfolio was in the company stock via RSUs. At the place where I worked. Let me not kid, okay? My portfolio at that point was more like 80% in one company stock. So even without the need for a full-on bear market, the day-to-day fluctuations would really make me anxious and hurt my feelings. I mean, I'd be down like 50K on a single day. My God, that was more than what I made at my first job in a whole year. So to be down that much in a day, I mean, my goodness, should I sell? Should I sell like right then and there? I don't know if my heart could take it. That's how I felt at the time, right? But this is what I learned from that period of time, which is this trick, right? You know how you avoid panic? Just don't obsess and obsessively look at the market. It's so easy. Do you need the money right now? Hopefully you have a reasonably funded emergency fund so you don't need that money right this second or hour or day or week or even month, right? Because if you don't need the money, then does it matter you're down a G or 2 or 50 or even 100? Because it's just as likely things will rebound. After all, look at the historical charts and see how many days the market is up versus down and total gains over time. And guess what? Yes, volatility is a real issue in the stock market, but it is also consistently up over time. Right, over time. So, but it won't be up if you cash out and capitalize. And realize those capital losses because of panic. Okay. Now, point number 2. Just please also keep in mind how most people completely fails at managing their money. Right. When you read all the negative sentiments in the papers, especially with regards to a bear market. That's just a reflection of the norm, okay? Don't follow the trend. Do not follow the trend, because if you do, you will lose money just like the vast majority of people will. Again, I'm not saying this as someone who hasn't experienced this relatively firsthand, okay? This idea that most of us follow. Heck, my own dad was very turned off by the market like a few decades ago because he had a few bad picks earlier in his investment journey. Because he was literally trying to trade stocks, right? Which I would have never recommended knowing what I know now. And that's considering that my dad is a very smart dude. So I'm sure he had some of that intellectual swagger that tend to sink a lot of individual investors, especially if they're trading, right? He lost some money as a result. He was totally against investing for like at least a decade. Okay? And what he didn't realize is that the issue here isn't the market itself, but more like his lack of diversification, because he was picking stocks, single stocks, trying to time the market because he thought he was, somehow getting hot tips, and an abysmal timeline, right? He was in and out, certainly within 5 years, okay? You know what he does now? Now he takes stock market advice from me because he and I retired the same year. So at least he knows there's no reason to follow what most people do, right? Do what I do, because I retired like 30 years before he did, essentially, at the same age. If you do that, everybody would be better off. The ironic thing, of course, is that I realize that most people will absolutely not follow my simple advice, right? They will always continue to fail at money management and then blame it on something else, like nebulous terms like corporate greed, even though they have no concept of what that means either, right? I don't mind being in the minority, though. After all, not everybody can be a winner, right? Some people's got to be losers. Sad. And final point. Think about, like, if you want to get out of the market because of the bear, what's your alternative exactly? Especially the time-tested type, right? Well, obviously, we've talked about this. Cash is absolute trash, especially in this high inflationary environment. Hiding your money in the mattress is just silly. Okay? You might as well be wiping your butt with it as toilet paper, because that's what inflation will do to the value of your cash. What about crypto? The youth will say. Have you seen the drop percentage of crypto during these same bear market times, right? Sure, doesn't seem like it's hedging against the market at all, does it? But look, my real problem with crypto isn't that it's not a good hedge against other types of investments, but more that it has no real use, or that I may just be too dumb to understand it, because I've never met a single reasonable adult who could even remotely explain to me the utility of crypto, whose reasoning for investment in this asset class is beyond a simply rebranded version of, oh, it's the newest craze, you gotta be in it to win it type of argument. So yeah, no, that's not a real thing, okay? There is always real estate, sure, unless you think it's peaking while the market is cratering, right? What about I-bonds? Sure, I've talked about this before too, and I'll say it again, I like I-bonds for the amount that I'd be limited to buying, making it somewhat immaterial to my long-term wealth building plan, okay? Seriously, a few tens of G's for a whole year just won't move the needle, right? What else is there? Wine, gold, art, sure, all possible alternatives, but with any physical good, I'd be asking this: where are you putting these things? Okay, in a safe, in your basement, in an air-conditioned bunker, temperature-controlled? I'm a simple dude with simple needs. Plus, I love drinking, so wine is out of the question as an investment. But you do you. My point remains, right? There's not a lot of choices, or at least not time-tested choices. So the opportunity cost for not investing in the market is actually quite high. Now, in conclusion, at the end of the day, investing in the market or simply staying invested so we survive a bear market is my advice, right? Look, I'm not a huge fan of drops, obviously. Who the heck likes to know that they're down, especially in net worth, right? And while I try not to obsess over the day-to-day of where the market is going, I'm only human, right? Sometimes it's impossible to ignore financial news, especially when it's like trending literally, on the cover of the New York Times, right? So even if I wasn't trying to look, good Lord, right? Like, it's just thrown in my face. Let me be clear. This is, of course, the first real bear market that I am personally experiencing. Last time the market dropped so precipitously was at the beginning of my career, so I barely had any money at that point in the market yet. So this is a real life test for me too, right? As well as for lots of people my age or younger, right? So hey, maybe I'll crack and follow the herd, and if I do that, I promise I will admit it on this channel, right, to the internet. But if you know me even a little bit, you should know that I'm a very, very patient dude and a stubborn dude. So yeah, that's not gonna happen, okay? Most likely anyway. Now, what are you guys doing to prepare for this bear? Genuinely curious, okay? So let me know in the comments. Cheers, I'll approach it.